We have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. How are you all over there, Freestyle Friday experts?
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. I am so excited to have you all here because, number one, you provide so much value to our viewing and listening audience. And so I'm super grateful that you're taking the time to provide your expertise to everyone that tunes in today. So thank you for being here. Saskia. Tell me how to pronounce it.
Saskia is fine, Kim.
Saskia. So Saskia is one of our experts, and I want everybody to get a chance to hear for a second what they will learn from you today, and then as well Sharon, and then you, Vickie. But first, let me greet our studio audience. I see you, Tanya Anderson, coming into the studio. Y'all go ahead and share the broadcast with your friends, your family, your coworkers. The topics that they cover today will be game changers, life changers. So you don't want to miss that, and you don't want to deprive anybody else of the opportunity either. So Saskia, if you would tell everybody what they can expect from you today.
Yes, it's really a pleasure joining here after last week. I am the resilience expert again. You can hear about really what resilience means to an individual, and then we'll go through the different attributes of resilience. Really just get into the factors that actually affect the growth process of resilience, or the cultivation of it in your personal and professional life. So
yeah, resilience is its own world, in my opinion, because it's one thing when we deal with issues, but it's another thing when you take it to a level of resiliency, like never giving up, never quitting, making a determination that I am in this for the long haul, whatever it takes mentality, all of those things. And so I'm so happy to have you as one of our newer experts teaching on resilience. Sharon, if you will, tell everybody what they can expect from you.
Yes. Again, I am Sharon. I am the self-care expert with Self-Care U Academy. And so with resilience, that's a little bit of what we talked about earlier, is that I'm going to focus on, it's not just the other side of resilience, because a lot of times people don't think about how to prepare for resilience, because we think once we've gotten past it, it's like, oh, I'm good, I'm resilient, I'm strong. But just like an athlete, and it's like, how do we train ourselves to become and be resilient in our everyday life and when something happens?
Woo! Y'all, you see, you're in for a treat. So you're going to hear about resilience. You're going to get to hear about how to take care of yourself beyond your mental state of choosing to be resilient. How do you implement it and then still take care of you in the process? Oh, mind-blowing. Now we also have our woman of many hats expert, and she always comes on with some type of hat, rocking it, right? And that's Vickie L. Evans. Tell them what they can expect from you, Vickie.
Well, today, in honor of Black History Month, I wore my Black History wrap in my attire. But today, I will have my self-esteem coach hat on, and we're going to talk about the power of words. Yes, and the no limits effect.
That's good. The power of words. And Vickie is the author of Know Your Worth. And so if you don't have that book, you definitely want to get it at her website, which will give you how you can get the book. But she is all about knowing your worth and understanding what you bring to the world and to the universe. So I'm excited about you all being here today. And who in the studio audience said some things? I I see Tanya Anderson. I see my mom saying good morning, ladies. It's good to see you all on this beautiful Friday morning. And so glad that I know many of you are on and don't type your names and things too. So I don't get a chance to give you a shout out. So let us know, hey, I'm here and I'm visiting in from this location, and I will pop your comments up. All right, everybody, listen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to jump right into resiliency with Saskia. Okay, right after this break. We'll be right back.
Why learn about health when you can experience it? Experience it in beautiful Florida in February 2024. Join us for 3 days of integrative and intensive health and healing education and empowerment with the expertise of the following Healthopedia author, speaker, and facilitators. The world-renowned homeopath and acupuncture physician, Dr. James Marinakis, 4-decade health coach and holistic nutritionist, Dr. Joe D. Bear, and others such as Kimberly Meredith, Dame Doria Cordova, Rex Sykes, Dr. Gary Sanchez, Jamie Kerr, Serena Brown-Travis, and more. Experience daily morning walking and yoga, interactive participation, panel discussions, and more for your own epiphany of health. Get your tickets now.
All right, everyone, we are back and we are here on Freestyle Friday here on the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to this world one household at a time. So as we're talking, we're getting ready to kick things off. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the comment section. And I'm also going to put this link here. Some people prefer, I see you, Arthur Wilson with Lit TV. Nice to see you and glad that you joined us. And I know that we need to have a conversation. So I'm not mistaken here. Listen, as you are joining in, make sure you can use this link as well. That'll bring you right into the studio. The only criteria is you do have to show your camera because I have trolls and bots. I don't know, whatever be going on. All right. So make sure you show your camera and we'll be happy to pop you up so you can ask your question. All right. So Saskia, if you would be kind enough to talk to us about what you have for us today.
Yes. So I just want to start off by saying that resilience is indeed a gift. I was able to use that natural talent and really build on it over the years, and it paid significant dividend in my personal and professional life. Resilience is something that really a solution to breaking the cycle of trauma, toxic stress, and burnout in a professional, and really finding that path to healing, paths that work, paths that actually make you feel positive and have, promote great well-being. Now, resilience, adversities and challenges happen all the time. And so we have a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainties, particularly in the work environment. And so it actually it's that power that allows us to recover from those adversities, those setbacks, and adapt to those changes, right, because of those life circumstances, and really persevere with optimism, positive emotions. So that's just laying the foundation for what resilience is. And so first and foremost, it really has to do with the experience of the individual. Every individual.
Let me ask a quick question, because I don't want us to go into the tips without having just an understanding of just resilience, like you just said. It's burnout and leading to stress. So why is it that I wonder people get to the point of burnout? Is it because they don't realize that they're not implementing something that could have a better outcome in their lives? Is it just like once you know that it's at the highest heightened state before it becomes even recognizable? I wanted you to address that for a second.
Yes, and that's actually a brilliant observation you just raised there. So to really, to prevent things from really getting out of hand, we need to have that type of a self-care type of notion when going through life, day-to-day life, and live a life of purpose. Intentional living really helps you to easily be resilient and to, I don't like to say the word bounce back, but it bounce forward from those adversities and setbacks. So it's really what you put in, right? It's a growth process that's not linear at all, but it's really what you invest over time with your mindset training, mindset transformation process that you underwent that prepared you for to embrace those changes, but to see them from a positive light.
Excellent. And in the studio audience, please are you resilient? And in what ways are you resilient? Please type some things about yourself that make you feel like you are resilient as you're walking through your journey in life. Okay, so Saskia, go ahead and share some tips with us on how to be resilient.
Yes, happy to do that. So really in building resiliency, the foundation is acknowledging and validating your experiences. Your experiences, I always say, they are real. Everyone is unique. So it's not we're all in, one fit all type of approach. It doesn't work that way when coming to dealing with traumatic events and really disruptive circumstances in our lives. So we need to really understand that pain, those feelings, and the reactions that we experience as an individual, they're all valid. You don't need to explain that. And please do avoid minimizing or dismissing the pain, because really that would not work to your, it wouldn't work to your advantage. So really seeking support from the friends like I have, family members, professionals, can really give us that safe space to be vulnerable and express our emotions. Because we all know most professionals, or I should say most professional disciplines, don't really encourage expressing emotions without judgment. And it's fundamental for healing, for trauma healing, toxic stress and burnout healing. It is absolutely necessary. And of course, in getting that support, it's pivotal that we do reach out to professional help, because they're the ones who are trained. These resources, they're very much trained in dealing and responding to those to the experiences we have of all types. But there are different types of trauma, right? Acute trauma, complex trauma, and chronic trauma. And so when you do go to get necessary help, you want to get help from a trauma-informed coach like myself, or just a therapist, right? If you're seeking treatment options, because trauma-informed coaches don't have the ability to, they're not trained to give treatment per se, just really to encourage and help with emotional self-regulation so that they can actually be actively helping you in the co-creation of your ideal state for your life transformation. And so all those approaches and techniques that these professional support resources do deploy, they're there to help you process your experiences, right? And really challenge those negative self-limiting beliefs. And I can't tell you how many I've had to deal with over the years for my self-leadership and my personal growth enhancement to be the person I am today. And so, and of course, most importantly, helping you to develop healthy coping mechanisms, whether it be, deep breathing, exercising, just so many smile meditations, journaling, grounding, emotional grounding exercises. There's so many out there that they can deploy for your benefit. And again, it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's the approach or the emotional self-regulation techniques that work with person A does not necessarily work with person B. So that's why you need a professional. And of course, like my friend said here, our self-care expert. Self-care is absolutely fundamental in really cultivating resiliency and maintaining it, and of course, breaking those cycles, those vicious cycles of trauma, toxic stress, and burnout. So really, it helps you to really bring joy in your life. I always say a boost through my multi-platform life transformation coaching service is really dedicated to helping professionals overcome those life challenges and experience joyful, passion-driven comebacks, right? Want to have long-lasting comebacks And there's really no other way to get it other than if you don't, other without self-care per se. So it helps you with that joy and the promotion of well-being so you can have long-lasting thriving and restoration after succumbing to really, really unbearable circumstances and setbacks in your life. And it's a non-negotiable item for me. Over the years, I've evolved. There's still a lot of more work to be done in that area. It's a process. We as professionals, we have to work on ourselves. Mental health professionals have to work on ourselves just the same as our clients and our coaches. So it's important for you to give yourself grace, but understand that it's really a non-negotiable component of your routine. So whichever way you use to deploy self-care, and once it works for you, that's perfectly fine. But you need to allow yourself that time to heal and to recharge. And that's what self-care, the greater benefits of self-care implementation. And so building a support network, absolutely vital. I can't tell you how many professionals have seeded so much goodness into my life. They didn't necessarily come in as therapists or psychologists or anything like that, but just their habits, their positive habits over time really does encourage me a whole lot, right? Those they've worked enough on themselves, they've read the personal development books and everything to really help you with that understanding and, of course, validating your experiences. And like I said, your experiences are yours. No one gets to tell you how you are to feel or how you are to process your emotions. It's not on a time clock. And so we really need to focus as professionals on really joining support groups, whether it's virtual or in person, whichever way, but we need that support mechanism to be able to connect with others who have gone through similar traumas, because I can tell you, nothing is better than having someone who identifies with your journey, of course, besides a professional support resource. But sharing your journey with others, actually, it has helped me in so many ways to understand and really feel that sense of belonging and really help to break isolation, right? It's often associated with trauma. Like I said, I've had experiences of trauma on a personal and a professional level, significant experiences, to know that that's absolutely vital for, promotion of a healthy, long-lasting and thriving life. So really healthy coping mechanisms, like we mentioned before, there's so many out there, but really one thing that comes to mind is mindfulness, being present and just taking it one day at a time, giving yourself grace, but really allowing yourself to heal and engage in hobbies that promote relaxation and self-expression, expressive journaling. All those are really, really helpful to developing the person post trauma.
Wow. Okay, so first of all, thank you. And if we can put some emojis and hand claps and things in the comment section, that is some powerful information for us to be able to go into our weekend and really on a Freestyle Friday to get that level of understanding of how we can embrace resiliency. Not letting anybody dictate to you how you feel about something is very important, because it makes you understand that I'm not on an island by myself over here. My emotions are real, and what I feel is what I genuinely am feeling, and it's real. So thank you for validating that, Saskia. I really appreciate that. And then being able to tell people the importance of getting in these support groups is necessary. It doesn't seem like it's an option. It seems like, and it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of I need to know that I have other people that can share in my theory of what's happening in my life. in getting counseling, you guys. If you need counseling, I'm a big proponent of counseling. I get counseling, so not because I always have something going on, but because it's maintenance. So for me, that's important to be counseled and to be able to just vent. And I always try to make sure they're not from one of my churches or someone. I'd be like, "Do you know me? Did you see me on the billboard or whatever?" Because I want to make sure I'm just venting freely, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So this is good stuff. Anybody on the panel want to say anything? Unmute yourself if you do. All right. So anybody that's in the studio audience too, if you want to chime in on anything that Saskia said or have any questions for her as our resiliency expert here today, please pop them in the comment section and we'll make sure we get those addressed. Let's see, any comments, anything came in? Let's see. First of all, we're glad that you all are here in the studio audience. I see you, Lady Tanya Anderson said, I am presently a part of the caregivers support group in Virginia.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's good.
And hey, Diana Sabatino with eWomen Network.
Hi, Diana.
Good morning, ladies, she said. And if you all are familiar with eWomen Network, it's ewomennetwork.com. And I'm one of the managing directors, and Diana Sabatino is one of the managing directors as well. And she's actually one of the lead managing directors. So she leads and we kind of follow her in that regard. She leads by example, getting a whole lot of business entrepreneurs involved in 1 million women earning $1 million in annual income. It's founded by Sandra Yancey. So check us out, eWomen Network. I'll put that in there, network.com. All right. Let's see other comments. So Arthur Wilson is on too, and he is one of the main contributors with Lit TV. It's a network that has all types of learning and education, and he's here. Thank you for being here today, Arthur Wilson.
Arthur is his title, I assume, right?
No, Arthur is his name. His
government. Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Arthur is his first name. Wilson is his last name.
That's awesome. Usually you don't see it spelled that way, so that's why I was curious.
That's what I was thinking too when I first met him. But he has, just like our CTR Media Network, which we stream in 100 countries and over 350 million households, there's another network that we're going to be affiliated with, which is Lit TV as well. And also Believe in Your Dreams is another one as well. So lots of great opportunities happening here on the Kim Jacobs Show. All right, let's see. I am thinking we're going to go to Sharon D. Brown right after we come back from our next commercial break. Let me see, Mackenzie, you back there? All right, we're going to take another commercial break. We'll be right back, everyone, and hear from Sharon. Mackenzie was backstage. I'm going to go ahead and play it. There we go. Ooh. She tried to play it. I tried to. All right, everyone, we are back here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Before we go to Sharon, I would love for people to know how to stay connected with you, Saskia. So if you could let them know.
Excellent. So they can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, which would be linkedin.com/Saskia-Christian. I'll put it in the chat here shortly. And also on my website, boostru, boostru.com/contact. So I look forward to engaging and having exploratory call in terms of how I can help with your resilience building needs.
Excellent. And you have plenty to share. I'm excited about what I heard today. So thank you. Our new Freestyle Friday experts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Sharon D. Brown, our Selfcare-Preneur is not just regular self-care. I'm talking about she's like an entrepreneur, financial health, wealth, all kinds of different aspects to her. So she's the Selfcare-Preneur Expert here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Talk to us, Sharon D. Brown.
Yes, thank you for that. And when it comes to the self-carepreneur, pretty much what that is individuals, especially women who are entrepreneurs and who want to prioritize self-care. And when you think about self-care, it's about every aspect of your life, mentally, physically, spiritually, and even financially. And on the side note, financially, we don't talk about it enough, And so when it comes to resilience, I want to start off just by talking about resilience and self-care. And I looked up the definition of resilience because even I myself, like one time when I thought about it, and I'm like, well, what really is resilience? Because we talk about it, but do we even know what it is and how we can get there? And so according to, the definition is to withstand adversity or recover quickly from difficult conditions. To recover quickly. It's like, how do we do that? And we weren't even prepared for the thing, And when it comes to self-care, think about self-care as self-development, personal development, the study of self. And a lot of times we don't always do enough of that. Because even me as a therapist, I didn't always do that because we think that when our life is fine, we don't need anything. But just like Kim says, she does therapy for maintenance. And so that's another thing in self-care. Because even as a therapist, I tell people, therapy is good, but it's what you do outside. And so, again, when it comes to resilience and self-care, how they pretty much really are needed is almost like you need self-care in order to get resilience. And you're like, well, how do you do that? It's like when it comes to the hard stuff in life or something that we don't like, we shy away from it. We don't do it. And so we're not preparing ourselves for the difficulties in life. And when I think of stress, and I include trauma in this as well, because it's the way that stress, because trauma impact you and it's a stressful event, I really look at stress as fender benders and accidents. We know what the accidents are because they're the big stuff. You can name what they are. No one has to argue about that. But when it comes to the fender benders, those are those little bump in the roads, the everyday stuff, when you could become stressful and then you start back over again, especially like for those of you who are entrepreneurs and moms and entrepreneurs and have a spouse. And just when it comes to the business of a business and the business of life, our emotions can be up and down. Our mood can change. Sometimes we may need to move really quickly. But again, how do we really prepare in order to be resilient? And a lot of times when it comes to self-care, people think about, I call it the byproducts of self-care, the luxury of self-care, to be able to, go to the spa and the bubble baths and the chocolate cake or ice cream. Those are needed. But what's also needed as a part of self-care is to be able to train your mind, to be able to train your body. And let's say this, we talk about spiritual warfare. It's not only about studying the Bible, but how do you really prepare yourself for the things that you don't even know that's coming? And this is what self-care is all about. It's about preparing your mind, your body, your spirit, everything within you for something that you don't even know. Now, I do want to say, and I do want to caution is that we do have to be mindful of our words, of how we look at things, because we know that what we say can come to be. So one way of looking at it is that you're training yourself to be the best version of yourself despite of what comes to you. And so an example of that let's say whether you go to the gym, let's just use walking, whether you go to the gym or you walk, how often do you walk? It's important to be able to do that. But you're like, what does that got to do with self-care? What it has to do with resilient? It is, if you really think about it, and I'm going to add something to it, walking up a hill or walking up a mountain. Let's do the mountain. How hard, I never, did a mountain yet, but I can imagine of how hard it can be of going up the mountain. And then there are times you may need to tell yourself certain things because there's certain emotions that come up. You're like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh, and then when you're like, okay, let me take that deep breath and do it again and do it again. And you get up and do it again. We do that in life when certain things come to be. Now, the thing is, there can be different outcomes because just because you got past something, because some people think, oh, well, I don't already dealt with that, I'm resilient. Not necessarily.
Right.
Not necessarily. I would say you're more resilient when you're able to reflect on what characteristics that you may have developed, because we develop things because we weren't always strong in a certain area. And I would say too, sometimes we need certain hardness, certain challenges in our lives so we can develop certain characteristics. Another example that kind of comes along is having certain conversations, because even in business, in your life, and your being a parent, being a person, there's certain conversations we need to have, but sometimes we shy away from it. And most of the time we shy away from it. We tell ourselves, oh, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but it's really us. We're scared, but it's usually this sensations that comes through the body. So that's another reason to do hard stuff, because a lot of times we're dealing with the sensations in our body that only last most of the time just 90 seconds, but it's what we tell ourselves, and if it gets attached to a past experience, and then kind of expand a little bit more than that. And so again, that's another reason to train. So to be intentional about what you're doing and why you're doing something is really, really important. And so in saying that, it's like, why am I training for this? This is just so hard. But for all of us on the panel and out there in the world, if you haven't yet, because I was like this too, because mine hit me later in life, the hardness of life, whether it's a heartbreak, but something that can really tear your world apart. Even though I would say, no, there was nothing that could really prepare me for that. But at the same time, I wasn't prepared either. Because how do I deal with disappointments? We need to train a little bit more about that, because disappointments is everywhere. How do we deal with the hard stuff? Do we quit? When we have projects for our entrepreneurship, for our business, do we finish it up, on that day? Especially something that may be important that we really need. And so again, there's a momentum to this because of the fact we're always, put it like this, we're always in training, whether you're or not. You're always in training. So the best training that you can get is when you're intentional about what comes ahead. And so one thing I want to do is, especially for women, and because I have a training, I guess you say program, and it's called Fortitude Spirit Rituals. And it's pretty much different things that we do so that it can help you become more resilient.
That's good. I put that in the actual comment section, and we're going to pull that up, because this is a training that people will get what from that training, Sharon?
Yeah, pretty much with this, it's a combination of how you can connect with yourself, of how you can motivate yourself, and how you can challenge yourself, of how you can focus. Because one thing I even realized about myself, I have trouble with myself when it comes to these things. And so I'm training. But again, when we're intentional, let's say about making sure we're doing 100 steps, doing something that's really challenging, and say, I'm going to do this anyway. And so the outcome of it is, whether you know it or not, is that it's going to help you in life, because the way that things work, everybody remember the original Karate Kid, the wax on and
Oh,
wax
yeah.
off. So it's kind of like we may not understand why we're doing something, but there's a reason for it that's going to help. And so that is what you're going to get out of it, the wax on and the wax off. It will help you throughout your life.
That is epic. And so how do people stay connected with you, Sharon D. Brown?
Yes, pretty much the best way to stay connected with me is through Instagram, and that is I am Sharon D. Brown in Instagram.
I am Sharon D. Brown. So make sure you all immediately go and connect with her, follow her on her social media page. You can DM her as well, and she will respond personally. If you all have questions for Sharon, make sure you go ahead and pop them in the comments section. And anybody on the panel that would like to add any comments or respond to anything, feel free to do so at this time. I see also one of our Freestyle Friday experts, Natasha Halliday, our mental health expert, back there. I'm pulling you in. How are you? Nice to see you today back there, Natasha. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know you had hey.
Hello.
Glad to have you here today. I know you had another engagement, and thank you for still accepting this opportunity to be here. And Tanya Anderson said yes to everything you were talking about, Sharon D. Brown. She just said, yes, this is good stuff. I am excited because we get a chance to hear from our woman of many hats now, which is Vickie L. Evans. And she has some great stuff for us as well. Let's talk to you, Vickie. How are you?
Hello, everyone. So glad to be on the show today. And as you know, as she said, I am a woman that wears many hats. I am a playwright, an award-winning playwright, director, producer. I have a couple of things going on right now. I'm an author of 4 books. One is Know Your Worth, Overcoming the Dragon of Low Self-Esteem. We have one on forgiving, the art of forgiving. And today I come kind of in the vein of the self-esteem coach for Know Your Worth. I'm coming in that vein today because I want to encourage you today. I am so excited about 2024. There is something burning on the inside of me that just keeps saying leap. Just leap, just jump out there. Let's do it. And I just think it is a year for us to have the opportunity to go for our dreams. So today I want to talk to you about the power of your words and the no limit effect. I'm just feeling that right now. And I just want to start off by saying it's time for you to believe in yourself. It's time. This is the time. And speak words of power. Speak words of affirmation over yourself. And I think the other coaches have already started saying those kind of things. Self-care is important. Your resiliency is important. So it is time. It is time for you to heed the instructions of Job 22, verse 28. You shall declare a thing and it shall be established. It is time for that. It is time for you to take the brakes off. You know, it's no more time to hold on and fear. And it's time to take the brakes off and go for your dreams. Whatever your dreams is, whatever it looked like, go for it with a feather. Do it now. I'm telling you, this is your time that you set things in motion. Motion means you're moving. It's not time to stand still. It's time to ignite a combustible fire that's unstoppable and uncontainable. I'm telling you, I'm feeling this right now. Let me tell you something. If you apply the principles of God, the principles will work for you. They would definitely work for you. If you step out on faith, faith will work for you. It would definitely work for you. The other thing I want to say to you, one of the greatest principles is faith. Listen, one of my favorite commercials of the Super Bowl, y'all know I'm a sports fanatic too. You know, my team wasn't in the Super Bowl this year, but one of my favorite commercials was the Verizon commercial with Beyonce in it. And it starts off, it said, you know, the guy tells her she breaks the internet. And then he gives her a challenge. He says, but you can't break Verizon. The thing that impressed me the most is her response, her words. Our words are important. She said, oh, yes, I can. See, you got to have a, oh, yes, I can attitude, even in the face of things that seem impossible. Now, that just seemed impossible. How you going to break Verizon? But you got to have that, oh, yes, I can attitude in the face of that. And that is what it's all about. Having that attitude that when man say things are impossible, that when man say you cannot do this, it has never been done before, so therefore you can't do it. Being able to have the faith inside of you. And let me say this to you. Faith is never comfortable. It's never comfortable. It's never easy. It's never any of those words. It always seems difficult and challenging. But I tell you, the only way that you will know if you can achieve that thing is the leap. You got to go out there. You got to step out on faith. And so then we see Beyonce and all these different, I think she does all these different things to try to, well, I'm going to go out in space and see if I can break Verizon. So that seems like an impossible task, but she was not afraid to do it. She says, I'm going to be, what did she do? Barbie Bay, you know? So there are all these different examples of how she went out there to try to break Verizon. And that's what we have to do. No matter what the task, and no matter, listen, if it works, fine. If it doesn't, at least you tried. You know, nothing beats a failure but a try. At least you tried. And so that's what I want to encourage you to do today. Don't hesitate and step back because of fear. Oh no, I'm afraid if I get out there, what if I get in the middle of the ocean and drown? What if you get in the middle of the ocean and succeed? Let's change the way we say things. Let's change the way we look at things. Okay, so anyway, we see all these different things. Now, this is the other thing I want to say that I was really impressed with. She was persistent. In order for you to achieve success, you got to be persistent. You got to try. That old idiom, if at first you don't succeed, try again. That holds true. You got to be persistent. Okay, so the first time it didn't work. Okay, let's try it a different way. Okay, so then the second time it still didn't work. Don't lose your confidence because it didn't work. Pick yourself up and try again. And I'm living by that principle. Try again. So she was very persistent. And that's what you have to do. There will be obstacles. Oh, yes, there will be obstacles. And I always say there will be friction, you know, because anytime you press against something, there will be friction. So you're going to experience friction, but you must pursue until you reach beyond the limits to achieve success. You must do that. If the door doesn't open the first time, knock again. It says knock and the door will be open. And many times we think it's going to open the first time. It may not, but knock again. Listen, this just happened to me. I'm going to give you this example, then I'm going to go on. So I'm always looking to do theater events. So I called a particular venue. I think I contacted them back in October and I said, is your venue available? The assistant said, well, we are not right now. We don't have our schedule for now. call us back in January. So me, I immediately, because I'll forget, January 1st, I'm calling you, baby. Okay. So I put it on my calendar, call her back in January. So I sent the email in January, and this was her response. And there's a reason I'm telling you this. This was her response. She said, well, those dates that you're looking for are already taken. And she said, we have long-standing clients who book our venue who have those dates already. So this was my response. I said, so why didn't you tell me that in October? Okay, if that is the case. Okay, so she didn't respond. So I'm going to tell you what I did, because I am a woman. You can tell me no, but no doesn't always mean no to me. No doesn't always mean no to me. And you have to have that attitude that, I hear you say the word no, but I don't receive it. Okay. So I sent an email to her and her bosses and said disappointment. And I told them the situation and why I was disappointed. Okay. I said disappointment because I feel like, and plus, I am a long-standing client anyway. I had used your facility back in 2010 before you got the new one. So I feel like I'm alone. So you got to know who you are and know who you are and stand up in it. I said I am a long-standing client because I used your facility back in 2010 and I did some name dropping. And I said, when such and such person was there, I used your facility. Let me tell you the results of that email. The director of that facility called me personally and apologized. I apologize. What we would like to do, will you come into our facility? It's a college, and we'll give you a tour of the venues. And I said, sure. He personally gave me the tour yesterday. And now I'm positioned. I want you to take that word. I'm positioned for dates in 2025. Those dates that I requested, they were indeed booked. But I am positioned now. I get first dibs on the venue that I want, 2 of them for 2025. And why did that happen? Because I was persistent and I would not take no as the answer. So I'm saying this to you. The power of your words is important. Please have the no limits effect. I am going past the limitation that has been imposed on me. I'm going past that. I will not take that for an answer. So I wanted to say that. Let's see, what else do I have? Right. Faith has gotten me where I am now. It's gotten me everything. I'm the theater person of the year. All of this is by faith. I'm the small business of the year. All of this by faith. I've been doing business. I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. And none of it, let me tell you, I didn't go to school. I wasn't trained to do any of that. But when God told me to leap, I leaped. That's exactly how I got where I am today. When I said, God, you know what? Even when he didn't tell me, I said, I'm stepping out on faith on this one. 2022, I'm going to the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center. I am going there and I'm going to step out no matter what. Even when the finances didn't look like I can do it, I did it anyway. And sometimes you got to step out on faith and then watch God move on your behalf. So that's what I'm here to tell you today. The principles work. God's principle work. Without faith, it says it's impossible to please him. That works. If you have the faith of a grain of mustard seed, if you step out just with the little faith that you have, it'll build up your faith. Because I stepped out at first with a little seed of mustard seed. But as doors began to open for me, my faith grew. So I'm saying to you, the principles work if you dare to apply them. I am a living testimony. It works. I'm done.
Wow, wow, wow. Mind blown. If you apply these principles that Vickie L. Evans is sharing today, leap, everybody just leap. We can get to higher heights in our lives and apply the faith principles. And faith, we know, is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that we may not have seen yet, right? At the end of the day. But we can believe and trust God that it will happen. And we have the power within our own words to actually make some of these things become a reality. Because we're a walking example of God's love and mercy and his direction. And when we don't see it, guess what? We can put our full trust in knowing that he's got our back, front, and all around of him. So I'm excited for what you shared today, Vickie. And lots of comments came in. I'll pop them up at the end. But I do want to get a chance for us to hear from Natasha Halliday as well. And she is our mental health expert. So Natasha.
Hello.
Talk to us.
Good morning. I apologize if I cough. I've got a tickle in my throat. Today, what I wanted to chat about was how when we focus on what we lack, that drains our happiness. It takes away our happiness. It promotes sadness and dissatisfaction. As a therapist, is that often when I meet with clients, they can give me a laundry list of what they feel is not working in their life, what they don't have. And one thing I always think about is, when you're driving, if you get distracted and you turn, if you look long enough to one side, your arms start to move that way and it shifts you in that direction. So I always use that example to tell people, think about where your focus is because you will be carried into that direction, right? When we're focused on what we lack, we often compare. And we know the quote, comparison is the thief of joy. It literally saps us of our joy when we compare. What I don't think people think about, and I often bring this to my clients, is think about what happens when we compare. We've actually got a preconceived notion and we compare with that preconceived notion, like we've set a thesis and we're looking to prove it. So if I've decided I don't look good, I'm going to only notice the pages on Instagram where I think the women look better or I think people look better. Right? So we have to be aware. We often compare from a place of inferiority. We've already decided we have less than, we're lacking something. And so we're actually seeking the proof. So that ends up zoning our focus on everything that proves our hypothesis. The rare time you get the odd person who compares from a place of superiority, but I almost never hear of somebody just going, hey, look at that versus look at this. And they're just kind of neutral about it. We almost always compare from a place of inferiority. So we have to be aware of trying to do away with getting into that comparison model. And we really want to be aware of what happens, again, when we focus on what we lack. If I think I don't have a bunch of things and I'm not paying attention to what I do have, the blessings, the wonderful things in my life, how can I feel good? So it's really important to pay attention to what am I looking at? To. If I were to ask somebody, what would you change about your life and what would you keep in your life? I often find people are much better discussing what they would change because they're thinking about the things they don't like. But let's talk about the good stuff. Let's focus on our blessings. I think this is why gratitude practices have become so popular because it's teaching us to redirect our focus. It is hard to be focused on the things we think are not working in our life, the things we think we're lacking, and stay in a place of peace and joy. So what I always say is, don't judge yourself. If you find that you've gone off and you're kind of focused on what you lack, just gently guide it back. It's like your GPS, recalculating, and you navigate back to that focus on, but what's good about my life? What am I blessed with? What can I say that might be going on, but despite that, I've got this. I've got my health. I've got my family. I've got my friends. I've got my job, whatever those things are. And getting into the practice of doing that so regularly. There's a quote that Tony Robbins always says, where focus goes, your energy flows. And it's about, what do we put into what we focus on? So if we're focused on a bunch of negative stuff, that's bringing out all of our negative energy. And again, how can we be in a good mood? How can we feel happy if we're doing that? So if you are prone to focus on those things, again, don't judge yourself. Just start every time you notice it now. Oh, I did it again. But where do I want to shift my focus to? Let me be purposeful to say, if I'm complaining, if I'm thinking about all the things that don't work, how do I, once I recognize it, stop it and say, let me go somewhere else in my thoughts. I have this thing that I do where I talk to my clients about what thoughts are you entertaining? And, we don't realize how much time we spend entertaining negative thoughts. So I say, we'll do it as an externalization activity. If I embodied a negative thought, so if say the thought was, I'm not enough. If if Natasha is pretending to be I'm not enough, if I come knocking on your door, so Kim, if I come knocking on your door and I'm not enough, are you going to let me in?
I'm going to let you in.
Most people are like, no, of course not. The thought comes
I'm actually going to let you in because I want to pray with you.
Pardon?
And I said I would like to let you in so I can pray with you and ask God to just reverse the situation in your life. Because I believe that God has a plan for everyone's life, not respecter of persons. So.
Right. So, but think about it like this. If you're actually your thought. Let's say you were thinking you were not enough. So I'm pretending to be that thought and I come knocking on the door. Do you think you would let me in to spend time with that thought of I'm not enough? If it was something physical, I don't think people would do it, but we don't recognize that we're doing that with our minds. So I try to get people to think about the minute you notice you're having a thought that doesn't serve you, that doesn't bring you joy, that is not helping you move in the direction that you want to go, you put the brakes on and you shift directions. Right? And if you think about it again, like a thought actually being embodied in something that comes to your door, then you got to show it the door and send it out. Let it go, close that door, lock it, double bolt it, because you don't want to entertain that thought. Right? So I really think it's important that we look at what's our focus on? Is our focus on the negatives, the minuses, the things we think we lack? Or are we intentionally focusing on the blessings, the positive things in our life? I think that makes a big difference in how people feel, because a lot of people don't necessarily realize our mental health is so tied to what we think. So we have to think about what we think. I think the first time I heard that was Joyce Meyer. And I was like, that was a game changer for me. Think about what you're thinking. If you're thinking about what you lack, it will bring you in a dark, negative direction. If you think about what your blessings are, what's going well in your life, it will shift your focus and bring you in a much more positive direction. So that's what I wanted to share today. I was going to keep it short and sweet.
Wow. And I'm excited about everything that I've heard today. It's been uplifting, exhilarating. Lots of comments have come in. I want to let people know how they can stay connected with you. Natasha, let's go with you first. Here we go. How can people stay connected with you?
Okay, so the website is Natasha. On all social media, I'm Natasha at Natasha A. Halliday.
Excellent. And share a closing thought, if you will, as well.
Well, I didn't say it. I have one more quote, and I like this quote. So I'm going to give you one more quote that I saw when I was kind of thinking about this. Somebody had on their Twitter feed or X feed, when you focus on what you lack, you lose what you have. And
can you say that again?
And Lord knows I don't want to lose the good things.
Say it one more time.
Oh, sorry. When you focus on when you focus on what you lack, you lose what you have.
That's good.
So it's important
Very good.
on what you have versus what you lack.
Okay. Great closing comment. Let's go with you, Sharon D. Brown. Share a closing comment with us.
Yes. And so my closing comment is to remember what fortitude is about when it comes to resilient. And with fortitude is strength in the face of adversity or difficulty. And so it's always preparing ourselves to be better. And when we are focused on being better, meaning doing the hard things, the challenging things, whether it's, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that those are the things that helps prepare us. It's being intentional about where we're going and while we're doing the hard work. And hard work is necessary to be in resilience. And you can contact me or keep connected with me in Instagram at I am Sharon D. Brown.
Wow. Okay. Let's go with you, Saskia. Tell us
yes.
about.
Well, just the closing thought here is seasonal journeying. You must look at your seasonal journeying of resilience in order to experience true healing, thriving, and empowerment. And I can always come on this show another time to talk about seasonal journeying of resilience. I'll be excited to. And of course, you can reach out to me on boosttrue.com, where I can share a little bit more, just get to understand a little bit more about your needs and how we can best serve them. And of course, on LinkedIn here. It's just a pleasure being here on this platform. Had an amazing time. Thank you.
Thank you. This was awesome. And Vickie L. Evans, share a closing comment and how they can stay. And please tell everybody about the playwright. I put that in there, the performance.
Right. I think I said a lot, so I don't have a lot more to say because I put a lot out there. So I just want to say you can stay in contact with me. The main source is my website, VickieLEvans.com, which VickieLEvans.com is the main source that you can stay in contact with me. I am on Facebook as Vickie Linnell Evans, my whole government name. And I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn as Vickie L. Evans as well. The thing that I enjoy doing, and even because it's Black History Month, even though this is going to be in March, is showcasing African-American playwrights. So my group, the African-American Playwrights Group, is doing a 10-minute play festivals. We have 8 playwrights, which will be given 10-minute snippets of their original work, followed by audience talkback. And that date is Friday, March the 1st, if you're in the Charlotte area, Friday, March the 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the Stage Door Theater, which is uptown Charlotte, the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center. The tickets are on sale now, only $10 for a 10-minute play festival, and it's carolinatix.org. carolinatix, Tix.org. And I did put it out there somewhere, but
yes, it's
if you go on my website, you can see it.
Yes, and I have it here. I'm just going to share the link itself as well, but it is in the comment section for everyone. I've already put it a few times, so make sure you all know that it is there. And I am going to
I couldn't see the comments, but I am so interested in the comments of what you guys were saying, because you gotta believe in yourself. But anyway, thank you.
Don't disconnect yet, because we came on a few seconds later this morning, but I want to just take 3 minutes and just pour out all of these comments. I saved them so I could pop them up real quick. So many great comments came in, and I really want to acknowledge you all. Yes, you can attitude. Okay. Ella Spratley said, oh, yes, I can. I mean, these people are in the studio audience. Pamela Plans, she's one of our Freestyle Friday
experts. Pamela.
She said, this is an awesome panel. And she's one of our experts too. So you come on anytime, Pam. All right. Tanya Anderson said, yes. Dr. Lotus Rashay from the Lotus Rashay Night Show said, great day, everyone.
Hi, Lotus.
Wow. Another great panel with Kimjacobsinc and the great guests on the show today. Y'all, these are pouring in for you guys. I am presently a part of a character group in Virginia. Diana Sambatino said, good morning. Arthur Wilson said, greetings, everyone. Ella Spratley said, good morning. It's good to see you, beautiful people. Vickie, you commented and said, good morning. A lot of people, good morning, good morning. And then I put a lot of the comments that you all said, but I'm going to go to the studio audience. Love this, Emilio said. No.
Thank you, Emilio.
No does not always mean no to me.
Yes, right. That is right.
Amen. Amen. Emilio said, now you're going to get responses from the panel. They'll go into Facebook and different places and personally respond to you guys. The No Limit Effect, blessed to have you come across your Facebook Live. This person just came across Facebook and saw the show today. Angela Hope says, leap of faith indeed.
Yes.
Leap of faith. Angela Hope and Ella Spratley, leap of faith. Well done. Well done. Great presentation, you guys. Dr. Juliet Pinder McBride. Hello, Dr. She's an author and some great books out there. Amen. She said, Colin Clark, you know, he's our marriage expert. He's on. He said, awesome, awesome. Okay, I might not be able to do every comment. I tried. Lady Justine Hilliard said, Kim Jacobs, great show today. Thanks so much.
Hey, Lady Justine. You know, I have to acknowledge people.
By the way, too. Okay, that's a powerful statement, Angela Hope said. All right, y'all. I did my best to get as many comments in. Thank you all for being here on Freestyle Friday. You are an amazing panel. Thank you all in the studio audience. And I love all of you. I love everybody in life here. But have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if for some reason the Kim Jacobs Show has blessed your household at all, please make sure you take a moment to just donate to our program. This is the only way that we thrive Monday through Friday to bring balance to your home. You can do it through Cash App, $Kimjacobsinc, or you can go to PayPal, paypal.me/KimJacobsinc. All right, everybody, that's today's episode. Love you all. Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and close out. I have to close out, right? I have to close out. I hate to, but I have to. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. Thank you all, Freestyle Friday experts. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing